Many people of around my age, perhaps a bit older and likely those a bit younger, have probably had an experience similar to this one. You might even be able to picture it. You're in a classroom and you're having a discussion about what makes a good resource to use when researching any given topic. You'll have inevitably talked about how not all websites are created equally and that there are more reputable sources than others. And don't let me understate this. Knowing what makes a reliable resource or something trustworthy is extremely important, and it's extremely important for us as we navigate this information-dense landscapes that we find ourselves online. And I imagine that at some point during the conversation, the website called Wikipedia came up. Perhaps it was suggested by one of your peers, maybe yourself, or maybe your teachers, after which the mood in the room shifted and suddenly became a lot cooler as the teacher announced with their authority that you must never use Wikipedia. Now, I am a teacher and I love Wikipedia. Don't finish the video here, especially if you're one of my current students, because I haven't finished, and there are a few things that I'd like to say about Wikipedia, and it is by no means a perfect website, but I think Wikipedia is a valuable resource and it embodies some of the best things about the internet and, dare I say it, humanity, though I'm probably being a bit bold and pretentious to say that. So let's discuss why I think Wikipedia is wonderful. I might also include some examples of some times that Wikipedia has not been so reliable and why your teachers don't like the website. But first, what is Wikipedia? I think it's so prolific that we probably don't need to explain in a great deal, but I will describe it briefly. Wikipedia, as described by Wikipedia's own Wikipedia page, is a multilingual free online encyclopedia written and maintained by a community of volunteers known as Wikipedians through open collaboration and using a wiki-based editing system. Let's break this down for a moment. First, and people of my generation, which is somewhere between millennials and Generation Z, if you subscribe to the notion of generations, have likely never used and possibly never seen a physical encyclopedia. For me, it is unfathomable to think of a time where we couldn't find out a piece of information whenever we felt like it with a computer that lives in our pockets and has access to the greatest wealth of knowledge humanity has thus collected. But it wasn't all that long ago when that wasn't the case. And in the past, before search engines and personal computers, if you wanted to learn about something that you didn't already and the people around you couldn't tell you about, you had to turn to books. I still value going to books because they are often a great resource into very specific things that I want to learn about. But there were specific books, encyclopedias, that contain an extremely broad range of information. If you haven't used an encyclopedia before, think of it like a dictionary, but instead of defining individual words, they would give you information about specific topics, from notable people to countries to animals to events in world history to cuisines and philosophical ideas. You could find information on just about anything you wanted in encyclopedias. However, due to the nature of a lot of general knowledge, this took up a lot of space. Encyclopedias came in many alphabetized volumes. They took up a large amount of space and were very expensive. Not many households had encyclopedias, and you'd have to visit a library to explore these series of reference books. And also, due to the nature of knowledge in general, as we as humans learned about new things, about specific topics, encyclopedias rapidly became out of date. So they had to keep editing, rewriting, and publishing new editions of encyclopedia. One of the fun things I like to do is look through old books in secondhand stores to find information that we know now is false. Well, you don't want to be relying on these books for factual information, so having up-to-date encyclopedias were important if you wanted to actually use one for research. This was difficult. So when online encyclopedias came along, it was quite revolutionary. And this is where Wikipedia is so strong. It contains information on just about everything you could ever want to learn about. There are over 6 million Wikipedia articles in English. According to Wikipedia, there are over 48 million articles in total. In English, there's something for just about everything, from polar bear holding facilities, which is a prison for polar bears, to goblin sharks, to the ugly stick, which is a musical instrument apparently. If you can think about it, there is probably a Wikipedia article for it, with the exception of perhaps people you know, unless they are famous or have done something prolific. I would be lying if I told you that it wasn't one of my ambitions to have a Wikipedia article written about me or something I've done, but that's enough vanity for now. Wikipedia is kept up to date by its Wikipedians, or its community of moderators. It is edited in a wiki style. A wiki is an online publication managed collaboratively by its community. There are wiki pages for all kinds of things that are totally removed from Wikipedia. If you're into any popular enough pop culture, there is going to be a dedicated group of people ensuring that its wiki is up to date. I've spent plenty of time browsing the Zelda wiki because it's one of my favorite video game series. But these are separate to Wikipedia. Wikipedia articles are edited by the public. For most Wikipedia articles, anyone can edit. For some of the more highly visited Wikipedia pages, especially of those people who might be somewhat controversial, or where there is an element of humour, the moderation is kept to a closer team, or trusted editors need to approve any of the changes. My favourite example of Wikipedia tomfoolery, and yes, I am a nerd and have favourite examples of people arguing over something on Wikipedia, it's fine, is Guy Standing's Wikipedia article. Guy Standing is a British economist who is a big supporter of universal basic income. That regardless of who you are or what you do, you should be able to afford to live. I am grossly summarising Standing's things here, but he's pro-labour movements, pro-democratic principles, and I think that's pretty cool. But I'm not here to talk about his economic philosophies. I mention Guy Standing because there has been fierce debate over the years about a picture used for Guy Standing's Wikipedia article. It's all locked down now because for a long time people thought it would be fitting to include this picture of Guy Standing and title it appropriately, which is Guy Standing Sitting. I think that it's only got a hint of humour. Guy Standing Sitting, that triggered such online debate among Wikipedians that makes it so funny to me. At the time of writing this, they seem to have come to a compromise and have included the picture, but instead of sitting, they have just included in 2012, which I suppose is fair enough. You might be wondering about what Guy Standing thinks about this. He revealed in a podcast interview on the now discontinued podcast Reply All that he doesn't really care about this in the slightest. But the fact that anyone can edit a Wikipedia article is one of the challenges of Wikipedia and is probably why your teacher doesn't want you to use it. Let me come now and give my own confession of Wikipedia vandalism. Once upon a time, I was a younger and more foolish man. There was one example of a time that I was at university in a lecture which was on the subject of pedagogical content knowledge, which, to summarise, is the stuff someone needs to know about something in order to teach it well. That is an oversimplification because it's not important for the story or for what I did, and I'm not proud of what I did. I noticed that for one of the educational psychologists who was being discussed, Lee Schulman, who, by the way, has made great contributions in different areas of education, is someone who I have a lot of respect for. Anyway, the lecturer placed a very curious reference next to Lee Schulman's name. And being the young fool that I was, I decided to do a bit of Wikipedia vandalism. I know, I am ashamed. I added to the end of the section Pedagogical Content Knowledge that Schulman claimed Sesame Street is the best resource for teachers looking to improve their PCK. That is, of course, not at all true. This was back in 2018. I checked in periodically to see if it remained, and in 2019 it was still there, 2020 it was still there, 2021 still there, and at this point I knew what I'd done was wrong, but I was too curious to see what would happen to the page. It wasn't until 2022, on my birthday actually, as a little gift for me, not that I checked in on my birthday, that would be something, but it wasn't until 3.5 years later that my edit had been removed. The community of Wikipedians had come through and had fixed the factual error. But it took time and is one of the dangers of Wikipedia. Anyone can edit it, and whilst corrections generally occur, they may not happen until it's too late. The year is 2010, and the FIFA World Cup is being held in South Africa. South Africa were very pleased to be hosting the biggest sporting event in the world. So much so that they decided to give the FIFA president at the time, Sepp Blatter, an award. He received the Order of the Companions of O.R. Tambo, which is an award to non-South Africans who have contributed greatly to South Africa. However, on the presidential website itself, it seems as though someone had been getting their facts off of Wikipedia. You see, to say that Sepp Blatter is a broadly unliked person would be accurate. This isn't the video to discuss it, but it did mean that there was some Wikipedia vandalism afoot on his page, and it turns out the timing worked out perfectly for whichever presidential staffer happened to be updating the website at the time, which included a rather unusual and incorrect middle name to Sepp Blatter. How embarrassing. And that is one of the dangers of Wikipedia and is why you shouldn't use it as a reference in your research assignments. There are also some other problems with the Wikipedia. JJ McCulloch made a video detailing some of the shortcomings of the website and its community of moderators, being that it's actually a very small team doing the bulk of the work, and perhaps it's not as diverse as we would want. Diversity is something when dealing with facts. If we get a fairly non-diverse crowd, there is bound to be some biases that find their way into the information, which is something we need to consider when searching for information. He also has some concerns about how prolific it is in the search engines, which draws attention away from smaller and possibly more dedicated websites on certain topics, leading to, again, a less diverse resource of information online. There are certainly challenges. So Wikipedia can be a place that is extremely broad and have lots to say about all sorts of things, but it can be edited by anyone, and that can be at times a problem. So why do I like it so much? For me, the answer is twofold. The first is how practical and that it serves society. Whilst it can be easily edited by anyone, generally the community will correct it, and there are a lot of passionate and dedicated people who are doing this, even if it takes time, as was the case with my false addition to Lee Shulman's comments on Sesame Street, but it will generally get corrected. The vast majority of information on Wikipedia is pretty sound, and more and more citations are encouraged. This makes Wikipedia a great starting point. I'm going to offer a little advice. Use Wikipedia to help you research. It is a good place to start, but it is not a good place to finish. What do I mean? Well, if you want to get a broad overview of a topic you're going to discuss, Wikipedia will give you a pretty good quick rundown of the basic things you need to know. However, don't leave it there. Always follow it up by finding other, more reputable sources to back it up. Follow the reference links. They are super easy to follow. Sometimes to an academic paper, other times a newspaper article, sometimes it'll take you to a website, but be careful. If it takes you to a website, ensure that it doesn't reference the Wikipedia article that's referencing it, that's referencing the Wikipedia article in some kind of weird referential ping pong match where there's no original source involved. It happens. Then use the references and resources you found upon which to base your research. You are allowed to do that. Just make sure the references and resources you use are sound and good. I like to use Wikipedia as a launchpad for some of the videos that I make. I won't reference it because I don't actually use information from the Wikipedia article. I do like to include resources in a video in a document in the description for the places that I went for information. With the exception of this video, you won't find Wikipedia in the references because I have gone to other resources after getting an idea and direction from the overview on Wikipedia. From there, and the original sources, the research direction might shift and I take it in a totally different direction, and that's okay. Wikipedia can start a journey that ends in unexpected places. Oh, and that reminds me, this is a brief side note. If you're looking for a fun yet nerdy party game, I recommend the Wikipedia game. It's super simple to play. You and a partner have your own devices and you are given a Wikipedia page to start on, such as the Mona Lisa. Then, just by clicking hyperlinks, you need to get to another designated Wikipedia article, such as Melbourne, Australia. The person who gets there first by just clicking the hyperlinks wins. And with that tangent out of the way, let's talk about the second fold of why I love Wikipedia. I like what it tells us about humanity. Now, I know that it's flawed and it isn't perfect, but this is a not-for-profit, ad-free service dedicated to providing a resource on everything with extreme ease. Sure, because anyone can edit, there may be some errors and there may be some grammatical mistakes, but as a large body of contributors, things get added, updated, checked, scrutinized, and shared. And I think that is really beautiful. That as a big online community, we can gather our knowledge or the things that we find from our research and deliver it to be broadly shared and freely. If you have a deep knowledge or expertise on anything in particular, maybe you should check out the Wikipedia page for that area of your speciality and check that everything is correct and remove any mistakes and add things that need adding. It's Wikipedia, you can do that. I think that Wikipedia is one of the examples of what we as humans are capable of when we pool our knowledge, our resources, and I think that's pretty cool. I think for me, this video has gone on for long enough. I really like Wikipedia. It isn't without its faults, and when it comes to research, it's not a good endpoint, but it can be a good starting point. Please don't be like me and edit a Wikipedia page out of spite or other kinds of naughtiness, and be a good internet citizen by contributing where you can. This is a different kind of video compared with the usual ones that I make, and I would love to know your thoughts. Please post them in the comments below, and while you're there, feel free to leave your favorite Wikipedia article. I'd love to have a read and perhaps start some research. If you enjoyed this video and haven't done so already, I encourage you to subscribe to That's Pretty Cool, where I make videos about all kinds of things which fill me with a sense of curiosity and wonder. Thanks again for watching, take care, stay curious, and we'll see you next time.